Hello.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Hi, world.
So if you,
Yeah, I'm gonna eat one.
yeah. Alright, so basically, we're gonna ask you about like what's the finals and like is there any way how we should study for it, basically like that. So our first question is, you want to start?
Yeah. What's gonna be on your final for AP Plus?
Can I answer that question by asking you a question? What does it say on the homework calendar that you got on the last day?
It's gonna be based on econ and how the real world works.
60% of it,
Yes.
and then the other 40
It's gonna be what we have learned.
over the CAP project. Because you already got tested for AP Government, and I'm not gonna double test you for that.
Then how are you gonna test us on the CAP project?
Public policy, linkage
Oh,
institutions,
I see.
the bureaucracy.
So it's not our okay.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So it's more like broad, like what is a government agency that you could contact about this particular thing?
I have a question. Is the AP government final going to be similar to the economics final?
No, but yes. The AP government final is only going to focus on those two things. The regular gov has one extra unit, the intro to economics. So that first unit where we did like the introduction to micro and macro econ concepts, like scarcity and incentives, what are needs versus wants, opportunity costs, stuff like that.
Is the whole test gonna be multiple choice or is it?
There's going to be one essay question on each of the tests. But it will be based on like a document that's in the test that you can use as evidence.
How do you recommend that we study for your exam?
You'll be given a study guide. I would definitely use it. And I think the best way to study is with other people, like a group of 3 or 4 that you know that want to study and not just hang out, so that you can use like just an hour or 2 hours and go over the study guide with each other. And you know, maybe you know the answer to number 1 but not number 2, and so someone else can kind of like shoot ideas off of each other and talk about it. And that way, if you need to like go into more in depth on your own, you can, and you have an idea of at least what it's about, instead of feeling like, oh my god, it's so much to do on my own.
So about the auditory.
How do you recommend, so you know how there's like 3 different types of learners?
Yes.
For, what is it?
Auditory.
Visual.
How would you,
And
how would you recommend that they like study or, yeah.
The actual test is going to have ways where it kind of like offers access to all the different kinds of learners. So there'll be like analysis of political cartoons for the more visual learners. There's going to be charts and graphs, right? Like in all of the exams. And as far as like even kinesthetic learners, like people who like do better when they're moving, like there's going to be like matching stuff. So like you kind of have to like visually move stuff on the paper to fit in certain categories. But like in a group, the learners are going to generally do better studying, because one, you're going to have to talk, right, which means you're auditory. If you're a kinesthetic learner and you're like a mover, you're going to have to move around. If you're an interpersonal learner, right, you get a chance to like shoot stuff in between each other on, you know, questions. And if you're visual, you're going to be writing down and breaking down charts, but verbally. I think that it kind of like, also experiential learning activates all parts of your body, and you're more likely to remember things when you're interacting with it on a more, you know, than a 2-dimensional level. Like just answering questions on a paper is not the same as like engaging in a conversation about something with someone. You're more likely to remember it and taking notes while you're doing that, and then you're hitting all of the kind of needs to help you kind of submit that into your mind.
Yeah, I think we're done.
One last question. What are you eating there? What are you eating right there?
Pasta.